Welcome to episode 11 of Ragtag Bag of Bastards. Woo!
Yay!
Woohoo!
Yay!
Glad to be back.
So today we're probably going to have a somewhat shorter episode than usual, possibly. That's my plan, but no plan survives contact with the enemy, and all DMs know that the players are their enemy.
Especially these players.
Alright, so last time the group had gone to Busker's Row and the Spreading Rumor in order to gather some information, hang out a bit, and hopefully not be in mortal danger for a little while. Mission successful. They got some information. They got some leads for new things that they might be doing in the future. Oona played her music and got herself started on a reputation in Busker's Row, and to maybe eventually gain a noble patron for her artistic endeavors, perhaps. At the end of the episode, we were going to split up, where Oona and Rhodes were going to go to a library to seek out information on the Elder Gods, I believe?
Yes.
At least that's what we said out of character. In character, some of us don't know that.
Ah, okay.
Thank you for reminding me.
That'll be interesting. Meanwhile, Alezi and Flynn were heading back to the Rainy Day Tavern in order to do their jobs. So, we've got the group split. They all went on different subway station trains to get back to where they were going to go. Who wants to go first?
No one, apparently.
We leave it to the discretion of the DM.
Alright, then let's do Alezi and Flynn first, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Rhodes and Oona, you can comment out of character and all of that, but you're not here for now. So, feel free to do whatever in the meantime.
Would you prefer us to mute our mics or
No.
just heckle?
But you can heckle all you want. Just remember, they're going to have the right to do the same when they're done.
I mean, that's fine.
Okay, so Flynn and Alezi, you guys head back to Shadeside and are able to get to the tavern without major incident. 1 second. Yes, without major incident.
Ominous.
I don't know what you're talking about. So if I recall correctly, today is Tuesday, because you guys did the major thing on Sunday and then had that. Yeah, so this is a Tuesday night. It is not...
Do you remember your jacket?
What?
Did you remember your jacket? Man, that is such a fucking old reference.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Holy shit. Yeah, somebody will get it.
I'll take your word for it. So, it's a relatively light night as far as customers at the Rainy Day Tavern, but Ben definitely does expect you to continue doing your jobs. So, you guys doing anything special tonight? Like, how are you going to approach your daily duties at the Rainy Day Tavern?
And Alezi's just standing in her usual spot by the door, fading in and out of actually paying attention. She knows that there aren't going to be that many customers tonight, so she keeps daydreaming and thinking about the information that she got at the Spreading Rumor.
Works for me. Flynn, how are you approaching this?
Well, there's something specific that I want to do.
Oh boy.
As I'm waiting tables, do I happen to see our good friend Carl? Is he still around?
Give me a second. Give me a perception check, since you're actively looking for it.
Okay. 8.
Alright, so you do not see Carl, no.
Okay, that's fine. I'm sure we'll run into him again.
Are you going to ask anyone about it?
Yeah, I'll go see if, I'll go up to talk to Ben.
Alright, since it's not that busy a night, Ben is pretty easy to reach. He's still almost offhandedly mage-handing drinks to everybody who's ordering them, but it's not a huge crowd, so he can pay you some attention. He waves as you approach and asks, "What's up?"
Hey, Ben, just a quick question. Did you see earlier that guy that our little group was all talking to over in the corner?
He's still around, I think. Why do you ask?
Oh, I just wanted to let him know that we went to where he wanted us to go, and I just wanted to talk to him about it.
Okay.
Because Una's not here right now, so I just wanted to
Yeah, I
pass
noticed
on the
that.
message.
Where is she?
Oh, we went down to Buster's Row, and she made a crap load of money, so she's not working tonight.
Oh. Okay, good for her, I guess. Anyway, I will let Carl know you're looking for him, alright?
Okay. I didn't actually meet him last time, so just tell him it's a friend of Una's, and I was with her, and I just want to talk to him about it, and pass on the message and all that.
Alright, well, I'll let him know that you're looking for him either way, alright?
Okay, great. Thanks, Ben.
Sounds good. So, the night continues, and a couple of unusual things happen tonight. First, we're going to go with one that happens to Alezi.
Okay.
So about an hour and a half into your shift, something like that, a familiar-looking dwarven woman approaches. This is Melida Warmhearth, the woman who was running the Blood in the Sand tournament. She spots you immediately, waves, and approaches. Ah, lass, I was hoping to see you tonight. How are you doing?
So. Recovered from my fight in the tournament pretty well.
Good. Are you ready for this week's fight?
As ready as one can be.
All right, good. Well, I have a request for you before you come in. She passes you a small pouch
What's that?
of coins and says, I want you to come dressed correctly. See, now that you're going, but if you want to be in the league, and I think that you could be one of our best fighters, but being a good fighter isn't all there is to it. You also have to play the part correctly.
Fuck yes.
Luchador!
I'm so excited for Monday Night Raw.
It's Thursday night, but yes.
Thursday!
No, okay,
Monster
we're done.
Rally.
Anyway, she goes on, being a good fighter is merely half of the project. You also have to be able to please the crowd. There are different ways to go about this, and with you, I suspect some sort of display of strength is what you need.
Hey, Docs?
What's up?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is Alezi gonna be a heel?
That's up to you guys.
Oh, that's good.
Do you need a moment, Red?
Yeah, if you need to mute your mic and take care of some personal business, go ahead.
No, I'm just very excited for this.
We can tell, and it sounds like you need to mute your mic and take care of some business.
She can't. She broke her hand
Shut
doing
the
that.
fuck up, Scott. Let's talk about that on our fucking podcast. My parents might listen to this someday. I'm a business major. I have a life.
I am so sorry.
I hope your plan gets you killed, Scott.
The player, Scott, not Flynn the character, the player, Scott.
Yes.
Anyway, Melody continues, how you want to approach this is up to you. But, meaning no offense, your current attire is a little plain for what we need.
I'm not so good with shopping for clothes, but I have some friends that might be able to help.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Alright.
Well,
you said she passed a bag of gold?
yes, there's 10 gold inside, which is not enough to buy, like, super fancy stuff, but it can get you a basic costume down. Maybe something that you need to alter a little bit, but, it's something like that.
Alright. So, Alezi accepts the bag of gold. Says, I'll, see what I can do before Thursday.
Excellent. That is a forward payment, by the way, so, understand that this is not just a gift. This is an investment, you understand?
Yeah, I get you.
Fighting is a business in this town, so treat it as such. Anyway, if you need anything else while I'm here, do you want to talk? Anything to ask?
Not that I can think of. I'm really not into the whole questioning business. I just like punching things.
Nice and simple. That'll serve you well.
Looking forward to the fight. I guess I'll see you Thursday.
Looking forward to seeing you. All right. I'll leave you to your work.
Alezi nods.
And she walks off.
Right, so Alezi's got 10 gold to go buy a costume.
And Renee has to mute her mic for other reasons right now, but in chat she is very excited.
We're gonna go shopping.
I knew Dux would give us a shopping episode eventually.
I didn't think it would be so soon.
I thought it'd be this episode, honestly. I have a list.
Have fun with that. That'll probably be next session.
Alright.
Alright, so next, a couple of interesting events happen with Flynn. Let's say 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours into the shift. You're doing your usual thing, serving tables and all of that. You do spot Carl coming down from the upper floors and speaking to Ben for a moment, who points you out. You see Carl approaching you. He has an obviously guarded posture as he approaches with a small tankard of some sort of low-quality ale, and approaches and asks, "What do you want?"
Hey, it's Carl, right?
Yes.
We didn't meet before, but I'm a friend of Oona's, the tiefling bard.
Right, I remember her.
Yeah, do you want to have a seat?
Not particularly, but okay. He takes a hesitant sit at a nearby empty table.
Does Alezi notice this? I mean, I had her daydreaming, so that's up to you, I guess.
Your attention would be mostly outside, I think, so unless you, do you peek in once in a while?
Yeah, just in case anybody's getting rowdy. Do you want me to roll a perception?
I don't think that's necessary. Once you peek in, you will see this.
Alright, I'm not gonna do anything yet. I just wanted to know if I was aware.
Yeah, you are definitely aware that this is going on.
Alright.
So Carl sits down, looking to Flynn. He's like, "Go on. What's up?"
Well, we all went to the spreading rumor, of course, and she did ask about all your stuff.
He visibly winces at that.
Yeah, she didn't really learn anything beyond what I'm sure you've already heard, as I'm sure you already guessed. I think she went to the library or something to look up more about it, but as I'm sure you already know, she's probably not going to find anything. Because like you said, with a problem like yours, you're probably only going to find it at the spreading rumor or at the Timeless Tomes, and you and I both know why you can't go to the Timeless Tomes.
And?
Well, I wanted to talk to you personally, because I went with a problem of my own as well, and I ended up talking to this guy Murmur.
I know the guy.
Yeah, as I hear it, that's the guy you spoke with.
I spoke with a lot of people.
Okay. Well, based on my conversation with Murmur, I don't think it's that hard to infer what he said to you, because I get the sense that that's basically his stock answer for everything. I think that if someone had walked into the spreading rumor with like a thorn in their big toe, he would tell them to do that. And
you're exaggerating a little, but you're not entirely wrong either.
Yeah. But see, my point is that my problem is very different from your problem. And while it was pretty extreme for my problem, and there are probably like 100 different answers to my question between doing nothing and that, I kind of think, just as an outside point of view, it might actually be right for you.
He gives you the most blank look you have ever seen. It is the most neutral, practically neutral, robotic thing you've ever seen.
Look, it's like this. I'm a half-elf, and I grew up in Trillendor, surrounded by noble elves who were all hoity-toity and looked at everyone beneath them. So it may not be on your level.
You're looking for sympathy here?
No, it's not sympathy.
Okay.
It's not sympathy. I'm just saying it might not be on your level, but I know a little thing or two about being ostracized, not belonging.
You also probably know a thing or two about never having to worry about where you're going to get your next meal.
A few months ago, that would have been the right answer, but no, I have had to worry about that. I've changed.
Get to your point.
Right. My point is, you seem, from what I've heard of you, I obviously don't know you that well,
No shit.
You seem very desperate to have magic powers. And it's because everyone looks on you with shame. And you just want to be a normal person, I guess. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like, it could just be that they want you to be a warlock, and warlocks aren't necessarily evil. There have been warlocks in the past, like, save kittens and shit. You could use whatever power you get for good. And if it's worse than that, I've read stories, and I know that shit comes with contracts. And if it's not to your liking, you can walk straight out.
The long silence from him. Just
so
you can physically feel the judgment radiating from him.
So I'm just saying that you might want to look into it, not give it away at a passing thought.
Are you quite done?
Yeah.
All right. Fuck off. He gets up and leaves.
That's fair. I go back to work.
All right. Any response from Oona before we move on? Or not Oona, Alezi. Fuck me.
I mean, Oona would definitely have a response if she was here.
I'm sure.
Alezi probably couldn't hear any of the conversation, so she's
certainly not.
Yeah, she's not going to have a response right now.
You do see that Carl walked off looking very displeased.
Yeah, is it about time for her break?
I'd say you could probably take a break right now, yeah.
Alright, so she's going to walk back into the tavern and go over to where Flynn is still sitting, I assume?
He got up to go back to work, but you guys could take your break together.
Well, she's not going to flag him down. She'll just walk up to him and be like, hey, what was that all about?
Oh, I was just telling him that we all went to Spreading Rumor, and we didn't learn anything beyond what he'd been told, and he was expecting that, but it still made him a little sad, you know?
I'm tempted to ask you to roll deception.
I got a 15 on insight.
12.
Yeah, Alezi, he is leaving out some pretty important details, you feel like.
Right. Well, Alezi's gonna raise her brow, go, really? I thought you would have left Oona to that conversation.
Well, she's not around, so
Mm-hmm.
I know that they're going to talk later, but I just wanted to leave a message so he's not antsy that she's not around.
That's all you told him?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds like bullshit.
Well, the whole thing at whatchamacallit place, Spreading Rumor, it was all bullshit. Yeah, I told you the story, and I think I told you what the guy wanted from me.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's total bullshit. Like there are a million different things that we can do before getting to that point.
Mm-hmm. But I was talking about you. I know you well enough now to know that wasn't all you said during that conversation. So what did you tell the guy?
I told him a little bit about my past, which is true, by the way, out of character, yeah. Which is true. I didn't say that part.
Yeah, you did.
You opened up to a guy that you actually hadn't met till right now.
Yeah, I'm not so great at keeping that secret, am I?
Alezi is giving him this look that says, you are the dumbest person I have ever met, and I have met myself.
Wow.
He's like, you really need to keep a tighter grip on your secrets, buddy.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're failing miserably.
What
just because they're not looking for you that hard doesn't mean that someone wouldn't send you back.
Yeah, there's probably a reward in some shit.
Yeah. So just keep a better eye on yourself, okay?
Yeah.
So she's not particularly satisfied with the answer she got, but she's gonna drop it and go get it.
Before you drop it, are you guys where are you situated in the room right now? Just standing around talking?
Yeah, Alezi didn't flag him down, so she was just standing somewhere in the bar.
A third person joined your conversation. This is the woman that approached you guys after Flynn's encounter with Tok Tok. This is a tall human woman with pale skin, black hair that's cropped very short and kind of frames her face. She's currently wearing a loose red long-sleeved shirt and a pair of black tight leather pants. She has a large metallic crossbow on her back. It looks very, very lethal. Wearing an amulet that has a small flame symbol as its pendant. This woman approaches and says to Flynn, "Everything you just said, by the way, is exactly what's going on. You should start being much more careful."
And who are you again?
An observer.
Right. Why don't you go observe the trash can over there?
No. Look, this is the second time you've approached us. Who are you?
Just call me observer. And
That's not good enough. If you want to talk to me, you tell me something else.
Then I'll stop talking to you and start talking to her, because she appears to have something between her ears more than air. She looks to Alezi and is pointedly ignoring Flynn at this point. Your associate here is about to be in a lot of trouble. I came here with some friends, with a more important target in mind. The plan was that once we were done here, we would be heading back to Trelindor. And my plan was to, on the way, take him and earn some easy money along the way. Our plans have changed. We're not heading back to Trelindor. So I came here hoping to give this fool a warning so that maybe he would still be free on my way back. The bounty has made its way here.
Shit.
You should be expecting trouble soon.
Right.
A man approaches behind the observer and puts a hand on her shoulder. This is a very large guy, probably 6'2", 6'3", somewhere in there. Dark brown skin, no hair, a very well-trimmed goatee, and wearing silver armor that looks to be well used. You see a lot of dents and dings all around it. He has a shield on his back and a spear also tucked into a loop at his hip. He puts his hand on Observer's shoulder and goes, "Are you done now? Can we go?" She nods and says, Yes. We have more important things to take care of. But once that's done, I hope you're still around so that I can claim that bounty." And she walks away.
Good luck.
Alezi just slowly turns to look at Flynn with just loathing in her eyes.
The warrior who seems to know Observer looks to the two of you and focuses on Flynn and says, "I don't know what you did to get the bounty on your head, but I would suggest that next time she is around, you surrender to her, because her methods are far more humane than most bounty hunters I've had the displeasure of working with."
Thank you for your advice.
He snorts and shrugs and then turns to follow Observer.
Fucking hell, Flynn.
This was bound to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, well, obviously we need to get you out of here. We'll talk about it when Oona and Rhodes get back.
All right. Actually, let me talk to Oona first before we bring this up. I don't really care about Rhodes.
Fine.
Well, I care about Rhodes. Like, he's a nice enough dude, but he doesn't need to know all the details. I don't.
We're not going to tell him all the details, but he's a compassionate guy. He's going to want to help if we ask.
But I think Oona deserves the truth at this point.
All right, I'll let you tell her. But then we got to talk about moving you.
Okay.
All done?
All done?
Okay. So, unless you two have anything going on, I would say that that's it for for what's happening with you guys.
All right. I don't think Alezi has anything else to do other than be insanely pissed off.
How much money did they make today?
I'm going to say that they only... Flynn is the only one who would get an irregular amount, and your arrangement is just enough to maintain where you are, so you don't have to pay for living expenses, but you don't make any extra money.
Okay.
So I think that's everything for you guys, so let's move on to Oona and Rhodes. So what are you guys up to?
We are still trying to locate the library. Red, don't forget you muted yourself.
Hey, so guess who might have been talking?
Yeah.
I guessed.
I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah, let's just rewind time. That's time to back earlier in the day.
Indeed. So you guys are at a subway station and part with Flynn and Alezi and
Mhm.
make your way to the Arcane District. So
Okay.
you guys get off the train station at the Arcane District and start walking through. Oona, your directions are a little vague, but you have an idea of where you need to go.
Mhm.
The
What's the
Arcane...
arcane?
Yeah, I was about to say. The Arcane District is interesting to say the least. So, a lot of these buildings are obviously and dangerously supported only by magic. Like, there is no way that they would be architecturally sound. There are spires that should not be supported, that would fall over in the wind. There are buildings that kind of jut into geometric shapes that really should not still be standing, but clearly there is enough magic to go around that they stay up. You also see that these buildings were built with no particular respect for the ground as far as an entryway. A lot of these buildings have very, very large windows that double as doorways for the numerous flying and levitating magi that are going around. So there are plenty of places where you could enter the building at the 6th floor if you want to, if you could fly. There are also places where buildings have bridges between them that are high up, so you don't have to go onto the ground level to get between buildings. And these buildings are elaborately colored, let's say. There are a lot of bright purples and pinks, blues and reds. These are buildings that are intended to be made to stand out. And the whole area is just this mix of clashing colors that is difficult to look at.
Do we have to make a save to make sure we don't disassociate from all the sensory overload?
No,
Cool.
We're not on those kind of drugs yet.
not yet.
That's not a drug thing. That can just be like a not typical brain thing. Sometimes I look at a painting with too many colors and I'm like, time to dissociate for a bit.
I
Or
think
you-
Yeah, that's true. I've had that happen actually.
I was about to say that might just be you, but maybe it's me who doesn't. I don't know.
You just haven't found the right art yet.
Possibly.
Or you haven't done a lot of math recently.
I mean, I'm a software engineer, so math doesn't bother me.
I was about to say, Dox is always doing math.
Yes. The-
Dorky.
numbers are your friend. Anyway, right now you are looking at numbers that just don't make sense. So after some time in asking around, you find your way to the Lost Bookmark. It is a relatively small public library that is situated in the second and third floor of a larger building that includes a lot of supply shops. You also see some coffee shops and restaurants in the building. There's a directory at the bottom floor that tells you what all's in there, and you could find all sorts of very esoteric arcane supplies. These are the kind of things that a wizard who has a special project would go for, not necessarily an adventurer who's looking for equipment. These are raw materials that are for craftspeople.
Yeah.
But there's
Um,
also the library.
I have a question. Would you describe this building as like one of those skyscraper malls where it's like 80 floors of shopping and then the most random restaurants and stuff? Like just comparative.
You've got the right idea. I wouldn't say 80 floors necessarily. This is more like 20 or 30.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a very tall building with some weird fucking shops.
All right.
And it's a public building?
Yes,
Right. And you said it was called the Lost Bookmark?
that is the library, yes.
Okay. Cool. So are you ready to go to the library, Rhodes?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure it's here, but let's go find a map.
Docs, is there a sign?
There's a directory at the bottom floor that you would be able to look at.
No, I'm asking if there's a sign outside the building that, like, says its name.
No.
If so, I was gonna judge Oona pretty fucking hardcore.
I would like to remind you that Oona has no insight.
Well, if you're sure, let's go in.
Yes.
All right, the two of you go in, and since it's on the second and third floor, you could take the stairs, or you could take the lift that is apparently powered by a permanent levitation spell. So, you guys take the stairs or the levitation lift, up to you.
Stairs.
Oh, yes, I'm taking the lift. Oh.
Fuck.
I just like the novelty of it.
For what it's worth, you've lived in Leyline long enough that the novelty would be not that really there. There are a lot of buildings with this style of lift in.
Alright, then stairs.
All right. Oona might not, but might still find it novel.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's a fair reaction, I think. So, one flight of stairs up, and you find the Lost Book Mark. So you enter this.
Wait, the Lost Book Barn?
Mark.
Mark. I thought you
The
said Mart.
The
Same.
Lost Book Mark.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that name because I'm always losing my bookmarks.
Right? It's so
It should
fucking
be
annoying.
your fucking book. How do you lose it?
Well, when you're done with the book, where do you put it?
In the next book.
I have several bookmarks.
Anyway, so the Lost Bookmark. Considering the strange architecture that you've seen outside, this particular library seems strikingly normal, actually. This just looks like a normal-ass library with shelves of books along two different floors with a big open ceiling so that you can look up into the second floor of books. You don't know the way the books are organized immediately. There are small signs on individual shelves that seem to indicate that they're organized by topic rather than by any kind of more official filing system. In the center of the room, there is a small counter with a worker behind a desk. This is a tall, lanky, kind of spindly woman with dark brown skin, dry, frizzy black hair that's cut very short, and deeply brown eyes. Her face is somewhat obscured by a set of glasses so large and so thick that you might more accurately call them goggles. And there is a second set of lenses on a hinge that they're currently up, but when she puts them down, you guess that they would magnify her eyes significantly. She's wearing a set of loose black robes that mostly conceal her figure, though based on what you see of her arms sticking out of her big poofy sleeves, you would guess that she is really, really skinny beneath those robes. She looks up as the duo enters and just nods and goes back to reading some tome that she has in front of her.
Okay. Is there a card catalog or a way to look up books immediately visible?
You would be able to spot a card catalog, yes.
Okay. Then Una's going to make a beeline for that.
All right.
Rhodes will follow her.
Card catalog. Have at it.
Okay. So Una's looking for information on Elder Gods, so that's what she's going to try looking up first.
While
Alright.
she's flipping through the cards, Rose is going to say, "So, what are we looking for?"
I'm looking up more information about Elder Gods.
Oona,
I don't know anything about them. I need to know.
you need to know?
I don't know. I need to understand.
Alright. I don't like it, but alright. I'm not trying to keep a gate on what you know. It just, the whole topic makes me uncomfortable.
Is there a particular reason why?
Maybe later. Let's just...
You do eventually find a small section that has been marked out for religious books, and you do find a couple of books that might be appropriate. You have the scholar background, right?
Yes.
All right, so yeah,
No, wait, is it? No. It's the
Research.
sage background.
Sage, excuse me. Same
Yeah.
difference in the end. You do understand how to find this information in a library. And
Yeah.
this is not the most organized library you've ever seen before, nor is it the most expansive. But a funny thing about that is that the smaller libraries often, well, not often, but occasionally have obscure books that are easier to get a hold of because larger libraries tend to better understand what they have and tend to be more protective of, whereas these smaller libraries might have some obscure lore that they are more willing to share because they don't fully, maybe they don't fully understand what they have, or they just don't really care. about keeping things secret. So you do find books that look promising in the card catalog.
Okay. I also... I don't know what this would be under.
Well, remember, you're a sage, so if you're not sure, then your background should provide you.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to figure out what I would be looking for, because, like, at this point, Oona still is thinking she wants to know more about the Elder Gods, but then she also wants to know more about Vecna's cult, and she also wants to kind of look up more about genetic conditions, I guess.
Okay, so for Vecna's cult, you look through and you don't find anything specific about Vecna in the card catalog. There is no information to be had. As far as Carl's condition, let's see, you would be able to find books on unusual hereditary attributes. You suspect that these books are actually more focused on things like the way being a tiefling or an Asimar is passed along, because there's actually some complex tricks of genes that might influence that. You also think to look for information on magical maladies, basically, and are able to find a book that might give you more information on.
Okay, so am I just going to be able to check these books out, or am I going to be able to like read them here?
Also, did we find anything on like Elder Gods in general?
Yes, you did. You did find a couple of books that look like they might have information about old gods.
Then what about anything that just mentions Vecna? Not even like the
no,
cult?
there are no books in the card catalog that reference Vecna, but they might be. Vecna's not necessarily on the title books. You need to actually research it. As far as getting the books, you could definitely read them here, but as far as checking them out, you need to talk to the librarian.
Okay. Well, first I want to check out sit down and actually look through these books and see if they're really useful.
Okay. So we'll hand wave a bit. You're able to use the card catalog to find where these books are, and a library appears to not have a whole lot of customers because all of those books are on offer. You find them.
Fantastic.
Okay, so you've got your books. Which ones do you want to check out first?
I'm gonna look at the about the Elder Gods first.
Okay, so the book is very, very old and does not seem to have had much time spent reading it. This is a guide to a lot of different religions, including pagan religions and old, no longer active ones. So it's unclear on the fate of these gods, but it does mention names. There's Pelor, a god of the sun, was also a god of healing and growth, and who fought against undead. There was Hieronius, a god of war and honor and justice. There was Bakab, a nature god. There was Mask, a god of secrecy and murder. Gods like that. You do not see a reference to Vecna.
Okay.
Is this the only book we found?
This is most promising of the book about the Elder Gods. It seems, based on what you can look through, that worship of these gods just kind of slowly ended as the Nine became more prominent. It's not entirely clear why the Nine became the gods of it. It seems like it just gradually happened, and these other gods quiet forgotten. These gods definitely existed, and it's unclear whether they somehow died or simply left.
Docs, can I go back to the card catalog?
Sure. Meanwhile, Oona is still reading.
Yeah.
I'm gonna excuse myself. I've got an idea. 1 second. And I'm gonna see if I can look up just books on cults.
Okay, yeah, you can find books about occultism, sure. There are several.
Enough that I can just, pick... Is it, 3 that I can pick up and take back?
Sure. Is there a specific flavor you're looking for?
Bad cults. Bad cults that are no good.
Okay, so you can find cults
Sorry, I'm taking an apocalypse class, and there's an interesting debate between what's a fringe religion and what's a cult. So I'm looking for fringe religions with an evil slant.
Okay, so you can find books that focus on fiendish cults that attempt to worship and bind themselves with fiends. You can find eldritch cults, cults that claim to have contact with beings from beyond reality, and there are also cults about blood. These are a lot more focused on forms of undeath, such as vampirism.
And death cults sound pretty promising.
Okay, so you pick that book up?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I'll take it back.
cool. So while you are finding that book, Oona, you continue. You don't think you're going to find any information specific about Vecna in any of it, but you do,
Okay.
you have gotten an idea of what the elder gods were like. The book also takes some pains to differentiate the elder gods from the great old ones, which are the subject of eldritch cults, beings that some people claim are from beyond this reality. And there is no consensus on whether the great old ones actually exist or are simply created by these insane cultists.
Okay.
It is noted that these cultists draw power from somewhere, but the theory is that these are just channeling mana in the normal way, but putting a slant on it that makes them seem more mystical and eldritch.
What about the other books I picked up?
So which ones do you want to look at?
Let's look at the one about magical melodies.
Okay. So you can go through a lot. There are a lot of different examples. There's an entire chapter dedicated to a disorder called persistent witchfire. There's several chapters on disorders that come from having a spell cast upon oneself, hexes and curses, and that kind of thing. You do eventually find a couple of chapters that talk about issues that disable magic. Most of these are temporary things that prevent one from completing somatic and verbal components correctly, things that simply temporarily mess with one's ability to channel mana. And then you do eventually find the section on something called unattunedness. As far as they can tell, it is just for some reason the body is fundamentally unable to channel mana, which is the energy that powers all forms of magic. So a wizard and a cleric cast spells that have a very different form, but the energy that underlies all of those spells is simply called mana, and the different forms, the different spells that come out come from a different means of channeling these spells. And somebody who is unattuned simply can't channel the mana. It just will not go through their body in order to be shaped. And the upswing of this is that people who are unattuned tend to be very resilient to magic that is harmful. So a unattuned person is a lot less likely to be killed by a fireball than somebody who can channel mana normally, because the mana that powers that fireball seems to just not be able to affect them. But the flip side is that they can't cast spells no matter what manner of channeling they try.
Does it say at all if they still have mana?
It seems like that they just don't have it. Mana
Okay.
is something that can be generated from within the body, but is usually channeled by drawing it in from external.
Oh, okay.
If you looked at the persistent witchfire chapter briefly, that is a disorder where the body produces too much mana. Like, a body can produce mana. Most people do produce small amounts, but in order to cast non-trivial spells, you would need to channel mana from outward. The inherent spells, such as Alezi's shield, that you've seen her cast before, is a result of the inherent mana that her body generates beast. When she does that, she's not channeling, she's just releasing. But for the spells you cast and any spells that are beyond a very rudimentary complexity, you have to channel from external.
Okay. Does the book talk at all about examples of unattunedness?
Not really. It's just, this is what happens and we're not sure why. It does seem to have a hereditary component. You don't see any any indication that it plagues male children more than female. There's no mention of that.
It doesn't reference any case studies or anything about it.
It does reference another book that you might look up. This is a scholarly book, so it does cite its sources, and so you could look for that book. but you didn't see it in the card catalog.
Okay. I'll take a note of whatever the book is called.
It's the book is called a case study on Jonathan Blackwell.
Jonathan.
Case studies don't normally say the patient's name in the title. It's usually the malady.
Welcome to D&D.
Yeah, welcome to D&D and my setting where apparently they do. Fuck you.
It's fucking.
They're not very good
There's
scientists.
There's no HIPAA in this world. No doctor-patient confidentiality. All right, cool.
Nope, everybody knows your business.
I want to be a D&D lawyer. There's some fucking shit up.
Get somebody to start a campaign where the players are the D&D lawyers, because that would be
right wizard defendant.
Ace attorney, D&D lawyer.
Wizard defendant.
Anyway, that's what you get from the book about unattunedness. You do have a name for what he has now, at least.
Okay. And then what about the other one I had, the genetic?
Well, I mean, that was it. That was the genetic book. Oh, wait, no, that was the magical maladies book. Excuse me,
yeah.
I have that backwards. While you're looking through the genetic book, let's talk a bit about what Rhodes is finding. So you're looking at the blood cult book?
Yeah, I walk back in with the book and I say, I have an idea. Since we're not finding anything directly associated with the name, I'm going to look at evil-aligned fringe religions, see if I find anything similar.
That could work.
I'm kind of hoping it doesn't, but I have to try.
So, this book mostly focuses on cults that are devoted to some form of undeath. They're typically called blood cults because they often sacrifice to whoever their patron is by giving that patron their blood. And it seems, based on a cursory glance, that the ultimate goal of these cults is to join their masters in undeath. A lot of times it is presented as a means of attaining immortality, because undeath don't die natural deaths. And so blood cults are the kind of thing that you usually call in, say, the Reavers to take care of, because they will capture people in order to feed their patron. And when they can't do that, they will feed their patron with their own vitality. And supposedly, patrons who have enough members can actually grant their people warlock-like capabilities.
They're not actually warlocks? It's just warlock-like?
They are warlocks. That's the way the book frames it. But putting that aside, you would guess that yes, they can produce warlocks.
Okay.
And I'm right in assuming. No, I can't just say that. This bears a similar, at least what I'm thinking, visual feel to Vecna's cult, yeah?
So the book would have a few pictures inside of examples of blood cults, and yeah, there's a similarity there. You can definitely see the relation. They have a lot of the same visual language.
No, I wouldn't think about that. Never mind. Okay, cool. Does the book mention anything about undead within the ranks?
Yeah, so it depends on who the person was before they became undead. Often sacrifices, or people who betray or displease the cult, are made into some sort of low-ranking, fairly wretched sort of undead. Zombies and skeletons are common, but they're also not very useful, so you're more likely to see something like a ghoul, or a morgue, or a wight, or something like that. Something that is considered less desirable by the people who are actually members of the cult. Whereas people in good standing with the cult are more likely to be promoted to a form such as a ghast or a vampire.
Yeah, okay.
I guess wights would be kind of in the middle and not necessarily what you want, but it's a hell of a lot better than a ghoul.
Okay.
Any other questions you might look to find from this book?
From this book? Any mentions of glass?
Roll a investigation check.
Can do ski. I got that. I got a nothing. Alright. I got a 3, so...
You don't see anything about glass, no.
Alright. Probably done with that book then.
Okay. And then
bring it up to Una.
Yeah, and then going back to Una, looking up genetic issues. So this is a much newer book. Apparently the field of genetics and the idea of heritability has been around for a very long time, but the study of the actual mechanisms behind this heritability is a relatively new science. So this is a very new book, and one of the things it says is that keep in mind that this is a young field and we are still learning things very quickly. So when this book is published, there may already be outdated information inside. So what exactly are you looking for?
I want to go ahead and see if I can find anything about, like, magic genetics, I guess. This is, like, a magic passing down from parents or whatever.
Okay. So, looking through, this seems to have more of a focus on more mundane properties. There's a lot of talk about properties like hair and eye color, skin tone, that kind of thing. There's also and multiple chapters on the relations between humans, elves, and half-elves, and then an entire other section of chapters that are about other half-breeds. And
Ooh, are half-orcs in there?
Yes.
Oona would definitely read that.
Okay, so taking a bit of a detour from inheritability of magical aptitude, other than half-elves, all the other half-breeds are kind of lumped together into one big section. There's the section on humans, elves, and half-elves, and then there's the section on plain-touched humans, and then there are all of the rest. So the text starts with it's a much more eloquent way of saying, basically, hey, we're about to say some insensitive things, but sometimes science is insensitive. We don't mean to offend anyone, but here's how it's going. Envision that, but a lot more eloquently said. And then it immediately starts comparing the rest of the half-breeds to mules, in that they are sterile, they cannot have children, and they often also have a lot of problems associated with them. A half-breed pregnancy is usually extremely difficult on the mother of the child. The child often has problems such as learning disabilities, physical deformities, or that kind of thing. It's not... a half-breed child is a whole lot more likely to have complications in that realm, and the pregnancy often also leads the mother with some sort of permanent injury. It is generally considered extremely irresponsible to have half-breed children.
Okay.
All right. And then you continue looking for information about inherited magical aptitude. There's not a whole lot in the book. It seems like there's more focus on inheriting magical properties such as being a tiefling or being an ASMR, which comes with inherent magical abilities. And the idea of magical aptitude being an inherited thing seems like it's actually worked against in the book, because it notes that while there are lines of well-known wizards or clerics or that kind of thing, it's more likely, all of those are the way they are because they have access to significant resources, is what the book claims. And so, your line of wizards is a line of wizards because that the parents have enough money to send their children to good wizarding colleges. And they cite experiments where they send children of people who did not display any inherent magical aptitude to good schools and got out good wizards. So the consensus of the book seems to be that there is not a strong genetic component to one's magical aptitude.
Okay.
Anything else?
Not from these, no.
Okay. You've been in this library for a couple of hours at this point, and it's starting to get dark outside.
Do our butts hurt by this point?
Probably.
Sucks.
Okay.
Don't you know the rule? You walk every hour.
I mean, Rhodes probably knows that rule. I don't.
Did you find anything, Rhodes?
Rhodes will set his book down and kind of sigh. Not really. Some vague descriptions of blood cults. No specific references to the one we're looking for, though.
Alright, I've got a couple of leads on a few different things, but I think we're going to have to enlist our librarian to get a little bit more.
The librarian is just at her desk reading right now. She has not paid you any mind.
Is there anywhere posted that's like the hours of the library?
No.
If you want to ask her, but I'm worried we might be getting close to closing time.
I mean, it's a library. We can check out a few books. Okay. I would like to approach the librarian.
All right. She looks up and says, "Can I help you?"
Yes. I've got a couple of questions. I'm looking for some things. Do you have anything? Because I picked up a few books. I'm looking for stuff on elder gods. And I was wondering if you had anything a little bit more specific than a reference guide.
Specific to what exactly?
Just more about them in detail. Because the reference guide's kind of a little bare bones.
Okay, let me see. Which ones are you looking for?
Docs, are you holding your fucking nose?
Yes.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I don't. What are you gonna do about it?
It's great. I love it.
Hello, it's me, Squidward.
I mean, this librarian is the nerdiest nerd who's ever nerded, as far as you can tell. So
Is
this
she a
seems
soul mouth breather?
possibly. It doesn't matter. Whatever. This is the voice I've chosen, and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I appreciate it, Docs.
I'm glad.
So which one are you looking for?
Well, we're looking for something more specific to Vecna.
Fuck.
Her eyes bulge a bit and says,
I give Oona a look.
I don't know what kind of library you think this is, but you're not finding anything like that here.
Oh, is it an unusual topic?
she glares at you.
Oona continues to look clueless.
Rhodes rubs his forehead.
Yes, it's unusual, and it's not the kind of information that we're just gonna give out.
Oh, well, do you know where I could find out more information?
No.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to upset you in any way. We've been doing some investigation for the police.
Then come back with the warrant.
Oh, no, I didn't mean... Yes, of course. We're not investigating the library. My fault.
I mean, that has nothing to do with this. I just wanted to know more information. I'm not from here, and I don't actually know anything about elder gods.
It'd be a lot better if you kept it that way.
Now, see, that doesn't seem right, because, how are you supposed to protect yourself if you don't know what something is? Or others?
The people who
anything.
need to know already know. And clearly, you're not the kind of person who needs to know this if you're just going to blurt it out like that.
I want to fucking insight check her.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty easy call where she's coming from.
No, she's pissed, but I want a better idea of, why, I guess? Does she know, does she know more, but she just doesn't want to say?
I think, in my opinion, it's like walking into a public library and being like, hello, do you have any books on satanic rituals?
I mean, my library would tell me that.
Yeah,
I've asked
but,
that from my library.
See here, so it's not necessarily that, it's more like, hello, do you have any books on how to make anthrax?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
In that frame, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But see, Una's not picking up on that.
Una is picking up on the idea that she is genuinely flabbergasted by the request, and from her perspective, you have blatantly overstepped social lines.
Okay.
She is offended.
Well, okay, well, if you don't have anything on the Elder Gods that's a little bit more specific. Actually, since you don't have anything on Vecna, do you have anything on any of the other ones? Since there seems to be a pantheon?
Yeah, we do. Which one?
Do I have to pick one?
Well, I'm not going to let you take the whole library. What do you want? Here, the most common one that we get information about is Pelor, the ancient god of the sun. I can get you a book from him.
Okay, sure. I'll take it.
Alright.
She flips through the card catalog and gives you instructions on where to find this book.
Okay. And then I'm also looking for a couple of things. One of the books I was looking for referenced another book called The Case Study on Jonathan Blackwell. Do you have that here?
That sounds a lot more specific than what we usually get. Let me check.
She goes through the card catalog and shakes her head.
Sorry, that one's not for us. You need to go to one of the larger scholarly libraries for that. This is a private collection that's been, kind of released to the public, if you understand.
Oh, so, who owns this library?
Guy's name is Vermeer.
Vermeer, okay. Does he live here in Leyline?
Yeah, he has an apartment somewhere here, but that's really not the kind of information that I should just be giving out.
Oh, no, I was just wondering if he was, a
If you want to talk to him, I can try and arrange a meeting for you, but he's very, very busy.
Rhodes is giving Oona such a look right now.
No, that's fine. I was just curious.
I feel like the personal questions that Oona is asking directly after asking about Vecna would be terrifying this librarian.
Yeah.
Oh, I love every second of this.
Oh, you do? Good. I'm glad somebody loves this. Me, who has social anxiety, does not.
Trying to think of anything else.
I guess.
How else can you?
Flynn is not the only one that's going to be in prison soon.
Okay. And then let's see. I think that was the only thing I took notes down to look up more. I thought there was one more thing, but I think that was it.
All right. Well, are you done?
And yes, I'm just gonna go find this book, and Oona kind of gives Rhodes a look when he echoes the librarian, like, I'm trying to finish here. What are your guys' hours, by the way?
Whenever I feel like it, basically.
That seems reasonable. Anyway, I'll go find this book. Do I need to sign up for a card or something to take it with me?
Yeah, we do have cards. It'll take 5 minutes to get you set up.
Okay, well, let me go grab the book and I'll be right back.
All right.
Rhodes doesn't follow her.
So the librarian looks to Rhodes and goes, "What the hell was that about?"
I am so sorry. She doesn't really pick up on social cues a lot. It's a very sensitive topic we're trying to research, and we understand that. It's truly is part of a police investigation. We would not be delving into this otherwise. She doesn't seem to understand the sensitivity and need of discretion this topic requires. I am so sorry.
Well, maybe teach her before she gets you in serious trouble, okay? Mr. Rainier has told me to be a lot more forthcoming than I think is wise, but the scholar people are like that sometimes. Anyway, so she's gonna get this card, but if it were me, I would have kicked you both out of here immediately.
No, I promise you, we're not trying to get involved with any sort of religious worship.
You're asking about that, so yeah, you are. Stop kidding yourself.
Not for the purposes of joining, purposes of stopping.
I don't care why.
And at this point, Oona, you can come back with the book.
Okay. All right. So I've got it. So what do I need to fill out to check this book out? Which is a book called Ducks?
It's just the ancient cult of Pelor. The librarian gives you a form. He says,
just fill this out, and then I'm going to need a drop of blood to attune you to the library card. It's just so we can track it if the book goes missing, you understand?
That is actually a fairly common practice.
Okay, I'm glad you prefaced with that.
Yes, I understand that from our perspective, that would be fucking weird, but in the case of something like if you're borrowing something from an official institution, they often have something to allow them to better scry on you so they can get their property back.
Okay.
So this is probably something Oona has done before.
All right then. Cool. Oh yes, of course.
All right, so let's handway up all of that. You get that taken care of. She gets the book checked out. You note that she touches a ring to a small sigil on the front cover of the book. She explains,
all right, the wards are deactivated. You can take it out. We want it back in 2 weeks, or you can come back in person to renew.
All right, that sounds just fine. I'm sure I'll have it back before then. I'm really excited to have more research on ancient gods. I don't really know anything about them at all.
Well, good luck, I guess. And seriously, that one you talked about before, don't even say the name, okay? Names can have power, and that's a dangerous one.
Una's kind of looking at her. It's kind of starting to click. Okay, no, that makes sense. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You ready to go, Rhodes?
Yes. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, Nine, bless you and all of that. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, and we'll head out.
all right. So you've got a book on the ancient cult of Pelor, and you head out. Where are you going now?
Once they get out of the building, Rhodes releases a huge breath. By the 9.
You're right there? Did you get enough walking around while we were researching?
Oona, how good are you at meeting people?
Not great.
I'm starting to pick up on that. I'm overstepping my bounds to say what I would wish for you, but it put me in a very awkward position there to have her so angry and so suspicious of us, because, at least from where I was standing, you couldn't recognize that fact.
I mean, it's a library. You ask questions at a library.
But we were asking about some serious, dangerous stuff.
Well, see, that's what I don't understand. You keep saying it's serious, dangerous stuff, but how can you find out it's serious, dangerous stuff if nobody tells you what it is?
For what it's worth, the DM completely empathizes with Oona right now.
I mean, so do I, but... We start walking and talking.
Sure, you guys can walk and talk. Where are you walking to?
I assume back to transport?
But where's your final destination?
I don't know, what time is it?
It'd be approaching 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it was dark, so it was going to be like, I'm heading back.
Yeah, probably time to... then I guess they both instinctually start to go back to the bar.
Okay, so you guys are heading back to the Rainy Day Tavern. On the way, you have time for a conversation, so go for it.
It's not only people who are upset or suspicious, though, is it?
I don't know what you mean.
Is this common, where you can't tell someone's emotions or deeper meaning behind their words?
I still don't know what you mean.
Case in point!
Oh, boy. Rogue still rub his chin. I know you should ask, and I shouldn't offer, but unless you asked, but would you like help with that?
I mean, I think I'm doing alright so far.
The word for that is Dunning-Kruger.
What?
Dunning-Kruger syndrome. Basically, you're so incompetent that you don't recognize that you are incompetent.
Yikes. Based on the interaction in there, Oona, I don't think you are. You made that librarian very upset and suspicious of us.
I mean, that's one person. You can't really make a case study off of one person.
The ironic part is that a case study is one person. That is its definition.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just being an asshole now. I'll stop.
A little bit. As a player, should know this. I've seen Oona not pick up on signals like this before, right?
I think so.
Actually, no, I don't think Rhodes has.
It's a little awkward because Rhodes has been in and out of the party a little bit.
Yeah, I actually don't think Rhodes has seen Oona not picking up on stuff. Like, I think the closest that Rhodes has come was with Carl, because I don't think there's any other awkward interactions.
Carl was a pretty big case, though, so I think Rhodes has.
But it was only part of it.
I think
Now.
Rhodes has 2 data points to start with, which, what Rhodes does with those 2 data points is up to him.
Okay.
Rhodes is usually pretty good at understanding people when they're not Flynn, so...
Yeah, there's that too. Like, I think that Rhodes could reasonably be suspicious that this is a problem that Oona does not recognize.
Yeah. Alright, well, I'll drop it for now, but I'll say, personally, I was in a very uncomfortable situation back there with her being so angry at us.
I mean, I'm sorry about that, but I can't control everyone's reactions.
I'm not asking you to control people, of course not.
I'll work on it. Do you think it's a problem? I'll try and keep an eye out for it, I guess.
Thank you. But, I can't make a request of you, really.
About now, you guys have made it to the subway station.
Okay. So, I'm going to head back to the tavern if you want to hitch a ride back to your temple, though.
Yeah, might as well. I said I'd bring you home, too.
I was about to say, Alezi specifically requested Rhodes walk Oona home.
Yeah, I remembered. I'm a good boy.
Thank you.
You don't have to walk me home. I know Alezi kind of, talked you into it, but you don't need to.
I mean, I want to go back and see Alezi as well.
I mean,
I don't dislike spending time with you.
I mean, but I'm sure you just want to see Alezi more.
Alezi and I have history, yes, we're friends. That doesn't mean I can't have other friends. I'm confused now.
No, let's head back. That's fine. Let's go.
Alright, so you two enjoy an awkward tram ride back to the Rainy Day Tavern. Anything else from either split group to discuss before we get back into the same location?
Nope.
Nope.
So the group eventually reunites. It's probably around 9:30, somewhere in there. There are still people who are drinking up in the Rainy Day Tavern, but the crowds are starting. The plateau has been reached now. The decline has come
Really? At 9 o'clock in the evening?
on a Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
People have to
Club
get to work.
going up on a Tuesday.
Shut up,
People-
Scott.
People have to go to work.
That's never stopped anyone.
Maybe some people.
I mean, the decline has started. That doesn't mean that it's empty.
Alezi's still outside doing her job, right?
Also, I've never been to a bar unless somebody else dragged me there, so I don't know how these things work. Shut up.
But yeah, Dux, there are a lot of people who drink on weekday nights.
Yeah.
All right,
I wanna
fine.
say,
Then,
isn't Thursday usually pretty hoppin'?
Sometimes they have quizzes.
fine. There's
Yeah.
a whole lot of
You
people,
don't have to
and
retcon.
Flynn can't talk to anybody because he's busy serving people. Is that what you want?
No, don't retcon. It's
No.
fine.
Either way, the population is just right so that you can talk. That's what I'm trying to arrange.
Yes, yes.
I'm beginning to think the bastard part of Ragtag Bag of Bastards refers to the players, not the characters.
Most definitely. My character is, no joke, here, an angel. I'm a demon.
Let's save this for
Flynn
post game
sees
chat.
Flynn sees a lot more flaws in Rhodes than anybody else seems to see.
Let's save this for post game chat.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every day Scott sends me memes and I want to die.
Wow.
Anyway, back
You guys
to the game.
reunite and are able to talk. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Okay.
as soon as they arrive, Alezi's still outside, and he tells them that they need to talk about a few things.
Okay, as soon as Oona sees Alezi, she goes in for a hug.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just like full on waist hug, like and like head on her like I guess did we establish if Una's like head is at her boob line or is it at her shoulder?
Shoulder.
It would.
Shoulder. Okay, yeah, like full on hug, head on shoulder.
Leslie's not
thing.
super tall.
She's 5'7", whereas Una's 5'3".
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it would be somewhere between boob and shoulder.
Okay, yeah. Una's full on hug, head on shoulder.
Important information that we've got to make sure that we've got right.
We
The
need
fan art
to
has
know
to
if
be
she's laying
accurate.
on the pillows, okay? So Alezi looks very stiff and awkward as she just kind of pats Una's very fluffy hair.
It's, you're a wonderful person, Alezi, and I love you're just great, and I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you. Alezi is visibly blushing. It looks odd because she's green.
Una, let's go finally. And she's like, yeah, she's like nodding her head. She's like, yeah, I just wanted to let you know you're great.
Okay, I'm gonna insight check.
Rhodes is frowning at all this, very confused as to where it's coming from.
Yeah, because Rhodes did not read the book, right?
No.
Oh! Fuck!
Alezi has no idea. Alezi rolled a 5 for insight.
Yeah, Una just seems strangely
She
affectionate.
just looks very yeah, she just looks very confused. She's like, well,
Wait, can I roll?
sure. God.
Oh god, I hope it's a bad roll.
Are you rolling for Una or Alezi?
I want to make a roll to see if I can connect the two events.
That would I feel like
that would probably be an intelligence roll.
Docs?
Just roll insight.
low roll.
Is everyone
You're
confused
saying
all
I
at
want to
once?
be a high roll now.
I want it to be really low because I do want everybody to be confused. Really funny.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a very high roll.
God damn it!
One.
It's because I wanted it too bad.
Yeah, so you get the impression that Una knows something new. There's some reason behind this that you can't quite pick out.
I can't connect it to the books.
No, I don't see any reason you would be able to connect this to the books, but you do understand, like, something has changed fairly recently that has made her feel like this is necessary.
Something has changed within me.
Shut up,
Me
Rose.
too!
I love you, Scott. Rose is gonna try and meet Alezi's eye and like try and convey whatever that facial expression would be.
Do I need to insight again?
You might.
Go ahead.
We're just trying to get our rolls in now, guys.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Holy shit, that's another 21.
Yeah.
That's great.
So what are you
Alezi
trying?
and Rhodes just have this connection, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Rhodes, what are you trying to convey?
I'm trying to convey that it seems to me that something sparked this off today, but I can't quite connect what.
So you're also confused, basically.
No, it's like I have a better idea than you, but I don't know exactly what.
I mean, I know exactly what's going on. I'm the fucking DM.
I do too.
I know things. I know things you could never know.
Oh god. Where's Elvis? Can I play D&D now?
All right.
I just want to say, if I have friends who are listening to this podcast, no, I'm like this always. What am I talking about?
Even if you had something interesting to say, I would just edit it out.
Oh,
All right. So, yeah.
For the record, right quick, is all this happening just outside the door or just inside the door?
Just outside, I think.
So Flynn probably would not be seeing this?
He might have noticed that the others are back, but I don't think you're seeing this now.
Okay, just that the others are back is basically what I wanted him to know.
Yeah, Flynn is aware that it looks like the other two are back. So you're right. And Alezi gets the message that Rhodes suspects something has gone on, but isn't sure what. Like a kind of a hey, just go with it idea.
Alright, so she just kind of tries to shrug this sudden affection off, and she goes, alright, what was I saying? Right, Rhodes, before you head out, could you join us inside for a moment? We need to have a talk.
of course, yes.
Thanks.
Is everything okay?
No, not everything's okay. I'll explain inside.
I see.
Alright, so you guys all head inside.
Alezi's just gonna flag Flynn down, and she's going to move over to one of the booths on the side of the tavern.
Okay. Flynn, you get the impression that you can... Okay, after a quick check with Ben, he says that he doesn't mind if you take 10.
Oh, I say hi to Ben.
Ben is busy serving customers. Cool.
Una also waves and says hi.
So,
He's back.
when Flynn approaches the table with everyone, he says, actually, if you guys don't mind, can I talk to Rhodes and then Una each privately for a second?
Yeah, sure. I think you should start with Una.
Yeah, that's
What are we
probably... can you come sit over here, Una, for a second? So I can just talk to you for a second?
Okay, out of character, but where's here?
Some other table.
A dark corner out of the way where no one would overhear us.
The Aragorn corner.
Yes. Can you come over here?
Sure, Flynn.
Thank you.
All right, so the group splits up again. Fucking wonderful. Thanks, guys. This is so great.
Unfortunately for you, I am going to want to talk to...
Yeah,
No,
I figured.
Yeah.
So let's start with Flynn and Una.
Do you want to have a seat?
Sure, of course.
So, as I'm sure you well know, the past several days I've been making things a lot more complicated than they needed to be, and I managed to talk to Alezi about this because she's I kind of feel like she's like the most like me, so it was easy enough to talk to her, and I talked to Rhodes about it because
Elsewhere, Alezi feels insulted, and she's not sure why.
You're damn straight.
And I talked to Rhodes about it because, well, we don't really get along very much, so it's easy to talk to him. But I don't know. I've struggled with what I would say to you. First of all, I have to thank you. When we were down in the well and we were fighting with Gragon, there was a moment where I wasn't sure what I was going to do at the end of that fight. And I'm not the best person in the world, I'll freely admit, but there are some lines that I take pride in never having crossed. And having had the time to calm down and breathe and think it over. I'm very glad that he didn't take that line from me. He's not worth it. He's not worth me becoming a murderer. And the fact that you were the one who was able to stop it from coming to that, I have to thank you. I think you're the best of us, Oona. And so I also have to apologize for all the trouble I've caused. And so as a sort of half apology, half thank you, I wanted to tell you a story because I know you love stories. Can I tell you a story?
I'm listening.
Okay. Once there was a half-elf boy named Halathon. Halathon was one of 5 children born of a marriage between an elven male noble from Trelendor and a human female noble from Eldamir. This was a marriage of convenience and politics and status and all that, as you'll often find throughout the world. But over the years, they did genuinely come to love each other and to love all their children and all that. Except Halathon never really felt like he was a part of that, like he was at home in this noble family. He felt the least loved, noticed or respected, and he knew from a very young age that he was never going to be anyone important. The most he'd amount to was some footnote that a random historian finds on a family tree in 1,000 years. So Halathon started to act out, mainly for attention, partly out of childhood anger and spite. He started to steal things, just little things that would never hurt anyone if they suddenly went missing. Mostly it was just to see if he could get away with it. And a lot of times he did. Sometimes he took these things completely unseen. Sometimes he managed to get himself out of trouble. And sometimes even his nobleman father would bail him out if it got too out of hand. But again, it's important that Halathon never actually hurt anyone doing this. He really just wanted the attention, to be noted for something, anything, other than being his father's son. Somewhere along the way, Halathon met this other half-elf boy. And this boy was poor. He came from a home that was actually broken, and he tried to avoid that home as often and for as long as he could. And where Halathon stole things for attention, this other boy stole things to survive. And I think that if things had gone differently and the two of them were in reversed places, they probably could have saved each other from these lives. But that's not what happened. They became fast friends, and they were like fire and oil. They brought out the absolute best and the absolute worst in each other. And they started to step up and steal more things, bigger things. But they never took from poor people who needed those things to survive. They took stuff from rich dickheads who never gave any thought to the people beneath their own status and stuff they hoarded and didn't actually need. And sometimes it hurt them, but never irreparably, because there were some lines that Halathon never crossed. But then they messed up. They tried to do something that was too big for them. They tried to steal from a person who was way out of their league. And before Halathon and his friend even got within 100 feet of what they wanted to steal that day, they were caught. They tried to escape, and Halathon did manage to get out, but his friend was captured by the guards. And Halathon spent the next 3 or 4 days living in the city slums disguised, trying to figure out what to do for him or for his best friend. And he eventually did come up with a plan, and it was one that was probably far more stupid than the one that originally got them in hot water in the first place. So Halathon, he snuck up to his friend's jail cell that night, and he told him this plan. But Halathon's friend said it was too dangerous, that they both didn't need to be in jail forever. And Halathon's friend convinced him to run as far away as he could, and that's what he did. He ran away, and he changed his name. And that new name, it felt clunky for a little bit, but when he found a new place to maybe start laying down some new roots, he started making new friends as well. And these friends only knew him by that new name. And he realized that name just felt right. He didn't want to be Halathon anymore. He wanted to be this new person. And the name is probably now going to be kind of a permanent thing, even if he ever gets to visit his old home one day. But he's also not sure that either person, Halathon or the new guy, could live with himself if he just left his best friend back in Trelendor, especially since he's a half-elf in an elvish prison, and that means he'd be long gone by the time any Elvish prison sentence was up. What Helfon and his friend basically just wanted freedom, but they became trapped in two very different sorts of prisons. I'm not sure yet how this story ends, but I don't know if it could ever end happy.
So what was his name?
The friend's name?
Yes.
That part of the story's for me.
Do you trust me, Flynn?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm starting to, at least.
Then for now, thank you for your apology.
Thank you for accepting it.
I'm not accepting it.
That's fair.
Talk to me again when you trust me. And then Oona gets up and leaves.
Can you send Rhodes over, please?
Meanwhile, Alezi and Rhodes have some time to talk to each other.
So as soon as Oona left, Alezi was just like, so what the fuck was that about?
I have some ideas. Docs, just confirmation. I know she was looking into genetic stuff.
Yes.
My working theory is one of the topics she looked up today was on genetics. Carl, but she might have run into something else.
I getcha. Alezi just kind of sinks down in her chair a little bit, or her booth.
I don't think Rhodes gets it, so.
Alezi's not talking.
Rhodes will give her a look like it's good that you get it, but I don't.
If she was looking up genetic stuff, she probably came across some things about half-breeds like myself.
Oh, right, of course. I should have thought of that. It's been a day.
Well, I mean, there's no reason for you to think about it. I don't know if you really know anything about it.
What do I know?
You've rolled this before, and you did not get any. You would know that half-breeds is a topic that doesn't seem to come up very much, and you would know that people at the Temple of the Mother seem to particularly disapprove of fathering or mothering half-breed children.
So I know there's a shadow in my knowledge.
Yeah. There's some. You definitely know there's a taboo here that you don't fully understand.
I don't know the specifics, but I won't push. Not my territory.
Yeah, it's kind of an uncomfortable topic, especially with you.
What?
Well, it's because of your mom, basically. I'm not sure how you would react if we started talking about this.
I mean, the mother doesn't have particular fondness for half-breeds, but that doesn't matter to me, Alezi. You're my friend. Genetics is genetics. I'm a paladin of the lover, not the mother.
I understand. I just maybe another day. All right.
That's fine. I have had such a day today.
Yeah.
Ugh. Rhodes is gonna sigh and put his elbows on his table and kind of massage his temples. We didn't find anything. Oona wanted to look up stuff about you know who, and like I thought, a public library wasn't gonna have that.
I'm guessing she wasn't very subtle about it.
Is she always like this? It was mortifying. She went straight up to the librarian and asked about his name. She had no concept of the sensitivity of which the subject should be handled, but also, when the librarian became enraged and suspicious at us, she didn't even seem to recognize it.
Maybe it's a culture thing. I don't know any other Jotuns.
Maybe. It was just... I was very angry.
And about now, Oona comes up after the conversation with Flynn.
Flynn's ready to see you.
You okay?
Maybe.
Insight. I'm rolling insight. This is the insight episode.
It is. That's okay.
Alezi got a 22.
Is there any way I can
It's got a 12.
counter that?
Deception.
If you want people to not understand what's going on, you would roll deception.
Then yes, I'd like to do that.
Roll it.
Okay.
Cool.
Beat my 22.
Oh, I hope so.
Beat my 12. You aren't beating either of those with a 10.
Fuck! First
Yeah.
time I get to use deception and I suck at it. Big surprise.
Well, both Alezi and Rhodes get the impression that she is suppressing anger right now.
I won't keep Flynn waiting, and I'll head over.
All right, so we switch places again. Let's go with Rhodes and Flynn.
Works for me. Rhodes will approach Flynn.
Hello, Rhodes.
Hi, is something wrong?
I just thought we should maybe clear up a couple things that happened earlier today, you know?
Sure. He'll sit down.
Okay, I know that you don't like me very much.
That's not true.
Okay, but I know that you find me rude at least, and a little abrasive.
Yes, but I think you're a good person to take down.
I can be rude at times, and that's definitely fair, and what I know is that much of the reasoning behind why we keep fighting is communication problems. We keep misunderstanding one another.
Rhodes nods at that.
So I want you to know, I'm choosing my words very carefully right now. What I'm about to say, you probably don't want to hear, but it's what I need to say. So if you're willing, I want you to just sit there and listen to me for a minute. And then when I'm done, I'll listen to every single thing you have to say in response.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, first of all, I know that Alezi adores you as a friend. And I know that Oona is just generally a very kind person. And she's clearly starting to warm up to you. So I know that you're basically a part of this group to stay now. So I know that at some point, you and I will have to bury the hatchet. But I don't think that can happen until we clear up a few things. For one, I actually have zero problem with you helping people settle fights or investigating weird bridge explosions and all that crap. That's your job as a paladin, and it's in your nature to help others, and I wouldn't ask you to stop doing that. When I was teasing you about that back at Busker's Row, it was because I was trying to get a laugh out of you. It was an attempt to bond. But you and I, we show friendly affection in two very different ways. And so our miscommunication issues just led to another fight in that moment. The bridge and the fight and all that stuff, I have no issue with. Those were whatever. But I think there is a problem that we need to talk about. And it's this creepy murder cult thing. Relax. I'm keeping it vague. I know you get antsy when people openly talk about it. So I'll just say this little problem, if that's all right with you. Okay. Here's the thing. Yes, it is your job to help people. And yes, that includes taking care of this little problem. But isn't it fair to say that this is also the job of every single other paladin, cleric, adventurer, reaver, police officer, whatever in the city? Many of whom are far more equipped for that than we are. The four of us, we're not the only people in the city who can help people. Four of us are not even the strongest people in the city who can help people. Four of us are probably legitimately not even the strongest people within 1,000 feet right this second. You have limits, Rhodes, as do we all. And that scolding that you gave me a while back about not taking all the soul-sucking crap onto my own shoulders, I think you maybe need to take a variation of your own advice and stop taking the weight of the entire world on your shoulders. And I remind you that the four of us, we were not sent to deal with the little problem. We were hired for a missing persons case, and he was fully expected by every single person involved to be found out past drunk in some skeevy backwater tavern. That's the current level of our experience in this sort of thing. That's what we were hired for. And if the people who did hire us had even an inkling of what was really going on, they would never have picked us for it. And I think it's fair to say it was way over our heads, Rhodes. Sheer, blind, dumb luck got us out of that. Not skill or talent. Our limits made us barely equipped to handle what we saw back there. And you seem, sorry for the mild insult, you seem far too eager for my liking to want to jump straight back into that trouble. And you need to remember that if you go down that road, Alezi is 100% going to follow you. And if she follows you, Oona and I are 100% going to follow her. You wouldn't just be putting yourself in danger. You'd be putting the rest of us in danger too. And I think that I would actually legitimately say that you've already done your job in this matter, Rhodes. Completely in full. Above and beyond even. The police and the Reavers are on it now. And whatever you think of me, I may not always follow the law, but I respect its power over me. I respect that there are people out there right now who could squash me like a bug, throw me in some jail cell, and toss away the key if they knew some of the things I'd done. And I actually do legitimately have faith in those people to be able to do the right thing in times of real crisis. So I think you need to know that people stronger and smarter and more wise and experienced in these matters than any of the four of us are handling this problem now. And it's because of the fact that we were able to get out of there and ring the alarm bell. And I think that's more than enough for our part on this. And just for the record, if you want to know my perspective on what I saw down there, I just saw a group of sick, twisted people pretending to hold on to the last broken remnants of an order that is long, long past its prime, if it ever had one to begin with. I actually really believe that if anything is left over of them in the city, it's going to be smashed down or driven out in like a week, 2 at the most. And I don't know if it's your sense of responsibility to helping others, or if maybe you think you have something to prove or what, but I want to ask you, sincerely ask you, to step back for a moment. Just take a deep breath and stop digging into it, just for a little while. Just for a little while.
I should point out throughout this entire conversation, Rhodes has been sort of, for lack of a better word, deflating, leaning back in his chair, less good posture, breathing sort of quietly.
I think you should trust Officer Williams and the Reavers and all of them, other capable people, to do their jobs and look into this. And if, as you think, Rhodes, it's a problem as big of a problem as you believe it to be, I think that you digging into it is only going to drag us into trouble that we're not prepared for, and maybe even worse, compromise their investigations. I want you to just think for a minute that maybe this matter is in the right hands for now. And while I would personally be perfectly content to never, ever, ever hear that V word again in my entire life, as long as I lived, if it turned out to be that big of a problem in reality, and we're asked to help them in some fashion, I'm going to promise you that on that day, I'll have your back. I'll do whatever it is you need me to do. But right now, here today, I think it's too big for us. That's my 2 cents. Whatever you want to say now, I'll listen.
You sound like my mother.
That is the weirdest sentence anyone has ever told me in my entire life.
I don't mean by trying to give advice. That's literally what she told me.
Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good option then.
Flynn, it's my turn to speak now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You've picked up on something else the others haven't. Alezi has, mostly because I told her the story. But since you're right. Let me start with that. You're absolutely 100% right. I've been trying to either consciously or subconsciously pull myself back into this on a sense of duty, or more specifically, a sense of family. I told Alezi this story after we left the well, but since you brought up the point, I'll tell you too. About halfway through my childhood, my father died. My father was a ranger who worked with the Reavers, and they had been sent to break up a local blood cult who had, at first it was disappearances. A few locals here and there, outskirts of North Wall. And I knew my father was looking into it. And one day they came back. He had left late the night before, said they'd interrupted somebody getting kidnapped and were tracing back these people to their base. And he rushed out of the house, and that was the last time I saw him. The next day they came and told us he had passed, and I found his notes. They had gone off after a cult of Vecna. And he winces because he said it out loud. They'd gone after a cult of this elder god near North Wall, and my father didn't make it. So, you're right. You're absolutely right. As much as I don't want to touch anything this dark and decrepit, I do have a sense of duty. I'm psychoanalyzing myself here now, but I don't know if my upbringing under ideals of family that keeps making me think I have to protect them like this, or if it's just disgust over this whole thing, but you're right. Oona even wanted to go to the library to look into it today, and as much as I told myself I didn't want to know, I kept looking with her. But you're right. If there is more to this thing, it's above and beyond what we're at right now. I'm just so I have such despair that something like this that took away not only one of my family, but families, God, across the continent, still around. And he is crying by this point. You're right. He's gonna wipe his face. To your other point, I've been misinterpreting some of your teasing, I think now. I don't know if it's tone or just the fact that I'm not familiar with you, but if you're right, then we have been having a straight miscommunication, and I'm sorry if you were trying to bond and I put shields up. I can work on that. I'm sorry.
Well, at least we know something that we have in common now. Down in the well, that wasn't the Gurgan I knew. Gurgan was loving and kind and kind of an asshole, but the lovable kind of asshole that you love to laugh with. And I don't know. I might have. It's the first time I'm saying it out loud. I might have had a little thing for him back then.
Oh?
Why else would I be so obsessed?
Rose shrugs. It crossed my mind, but I wasn't gonna pry.
That cult took someone very important to me away from me as well. And it's definitely not the same. I don't want to compete or compare or anything like that, but it's something we have in common, I think.
If anything, you have it worse. My father died honorably trying to fight this, and you had to see your gun join another side. I haven't thought about how much hard this must have been on you, knowing him. I'm sorry. You should have been more emotionally aware.
Well, we should maybe join the others because we need to talk about something that's a little bit more urgent as well.
But thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't expect to hear the words I needed to hear from you, but not that came out wrong.
No, I completely understand. I'm an asshole.
No, that's the thing, you're not. As bad as I've been reading you, I've never thought you were an asshole. Abrasive, maybe, yes. Rude, opinionated, yes.
Alezi in the distance. He's still an asshole!
But yeah.
So yeah, we should go back with the others because there's something that we need to talk about.
Yeah. Rhodes is gonna try and wipe his eyes as he gets up.
Alright, meanwhile, the other two are having a conversation. I wonder if they're going to be...
Fucking Hot Wheels, top that! No, it's beat that. Fuck, I fucked it up.
So, Alezi sat awkwardly with Oona for just a few seconds, very much not used to seeing Oona in sort of angry spirits. She kind of clears her throat, just So, Oona, how do you feel about clothes shopping?
What?
Good thing I was muted, because I almost choked on my fucking water.
Why? I love clothes shopping.
Well, you see, you can probably tell I give little fucks about fashion.
I thought the fur collars it works so well for you, though.
Oh, thank you. She kind of fluffs up the fur on her cloak very proudly. So Melida came by, the dwarf from the Blood in the Sand tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I guess she thinks that I can pull in a lot of money for the tournament, so she gave me some extension.
You need a costume.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, this is so fantastic! Oh, I'm so excited! Oh, good. Oh, yes. I love costumes. Oh gosh, I've seen so many plays, and I've never seen like a real like stage fight, but I bet we could come up with something really cool that makes you look really intimidating. And
she
just
only
scares
gave
the crap
me 10
out of people.
gold.
For what it's worth, that would be equivalent to like $100, somewhere in there. Like, it's not a small amount of change.
Oh.
I'm a cosplayer. That is a small amount for a costume.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Fair enough. That's fine.
Okay, so she's like, all right, we've got a budget. I mean, I can spend a little more of my own money, I guess. But she gave me 10 gold. We'll see what you can do with it. The fight's Thursday, so we'll have to do this tomorrow.
I mean, oh yes, I'm so excited. I'll have so many ideas. I need to, this is gonna be great. So fantastic.
Oh, okay. I guess.
We're gonna have to figure out what your colors are. and then if we should paint your face, and if we should, like...
Face paint?
Yeah, I mean, you could wear a mask, too, I guess, if you'd rather do that. I guess that's sort of more intimidating, but the paint probably would be, both of them might cause vision issues. We'll figure it out.
Oh god, what did I get into?
For what it's worth, face paint is fairly common in Downward. You would have at least encountered it, Alezi.
Alright.
It's okay, Uda's just gonna keep rambling about, like, different ideas.
Meanwhile, Rhodes is crying.
Alezi just wanted to cheer Oona up, and now she's in this. That conversation took quite a while, so Alezi's going to intervene when Oona gives her a breath and says, so, I heard at the library you were looking up things about genetics.
Yeah, I think Carl, there's a case study about magical malady that I've looked up, and I was wondering if maybe I could connect it to the genetics, but so far I haven't found anything, so I'm gonna have to look up that case study first.
Ah, right.
So I'll have to go to the library again tomorrow. A different library.
Well,
after we go shopping.
Well, I hope you at least learned your lesson about talking about specific things.
I don't get it. Why wouldn't you... No, I don't get it. Why... If something's dangerous, why wouldn't you want to know more about it so you can keep it from being dangerous? I don't get that. Like, what is with this place?
Yeah, I get your point. I understand. People just don't like talking about it. They feel like the knowledge probably corrupts more than it helps.
But that doesn't make any sense. If you can't, like, everybody's just so afraid of it that the more, I don't know, the more you're afraid of something, the more power it has. You don't have to be afraid of something when we have the ability to make it less mysterious.
I mean, you don't gotta tell me twice. But there's people a lot smarter than I am. Maybe they know something that I don't.
Well, I'll try and be more thoughtful, is what Rhodes told me.
Yeah, I think this is gonna sound really funny coming from me, that the topic just requires more subtlety.
I guess that makes sense. I'll keep that in mind. I'm used to being able to just ask questions, and people will actually answer them.
Alright.
But since we've got a moment, why don't you tell me about your scars?
Oh, my scars!
Yeah!
She throws off her cloak.
Alright, so while you guys...
Oona is blinded by muscle.
Strong line for generations!
While you guys exchange that information, the other conversation wraps up, and the group is reunited once again.
Okay, so,
Wait, shouldn't I have to roll to mask the fact that I've been crying?
If you want to.
Yeah, probably.
That would be deception.
alright, while she's doing that, they come back to the booth as Alezi is, like, standing up in the seat, showing Oona, like, a scar right along her pelvic line.
Hell yeah.
You are showing that to a lot more than Oona, of course, but you may not notice that.
I mean, she don't give a fuck, so...
Yeah.
Una's very awestruck, like, wow!
Oh shit,
Whoa.
that's funny.
We do not know Rhodes was crying.
Yeah, Rhodes is able to take a minute to recompose himself and is back into his usual demeanor. Cool.
Okay, so now that we're all together, there's something that we all need to talk about as a group.
Alezi mentioned something about this by the door. Is everything alright?
Not really. Okay, Alezi knows this, and I basically just told Oona a little bit more about my past. As you've probably been able to infer.
I haven't inferred anything. Like I told you, your past is your business.
Okay, I did some things in my past that I'm not proud of. And some of those things have made me wanted by certain authorities.
How bad?
And
Basically, he's in a lot of shit right now, and we've been told that someone's coming after him.
To be clear, you were told that knowledge of the bounty on him is spreading to Leyland. It might not be just someone, it might be multiple people.
But how bad are we talking?
Well, it depends on the number that they put on my head.
I mean, it was bad enough that another bounty hunter that couldn't grab him right now warned us about it.
Why wouldn't you know your own bounty? That seems like relevant
I
information.
know that totally sucks, right?
All right, I'm just gonna assume because we're all so flippant about it that it's nothing super immoral. Like
He was just being an idiot.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine.
Well, what do we want to do then?
Wait,
I don't know that we have to do anything right
do
this
anything
second.
to what?
Look,
The bounty, but I think it's something that we need to keep an eye out for.
I think moving him out of the tavern is a pretty safe way to go.
What happened before we got back?
A woman basically walked in while you were gone, and she came up and she said that she was a bounty hunter and she was going to basically take me back to Trillendor for quote unquote easy money, but she wasn't going that way anymore. So she was basically giving me a heads up that she'd be back.
She wanted to make
Pretty
sure he didn't
strong.
get caught by other bounty hunters.
What? So she called dibs?
Yeah, basically.
She.
It was kind of hot.
That's not how bounties work.
I guess
You
it is
can't
to
just
her.
Say tap tap, no takebacks. I'll be back for this later.
But actually, what I'm thinking is the fact that she thought it would just be a simple side job makes me think there's not a whole lot of money on my head, and maybe I could be annoying as all heck enough to be not worth their time.
I would rather just move you.
I think I'd rather
I
go
mean,
talk
you
to
can-
Talk
you're
Talk
all-
again than have you try and come up with that plan for that.
You're already annoying as all heck. You can keep doing what you do.
Or we pay off the bounty.
That laugh was
But
in character.
You all just said you didn't know how much it was.
But I'm sure it's more than any of us have on us.
We could earn it.
That's
We
true.
gotta find out how much it is first.
Yeah.
Hold on. You're saying we? I have plans for my money, goddammit. I'm not doing that.
Well, it doesn't have to be your money. It could be something new that we do. That's strictly for that fund.
And how are you suggesting we earn enough money to pay off a bounty that is probably fairly high considering...
I could think of one thing.
Hmm?
If we do a good enough job at Lionel's favor, maybe he'll want to hire us for something else.
Jesus. Sorry. There is no person named Jesus.
We've already established that Jesus is a curse that is based on a corruption of a dwarven. I'm not even joking. That is actually the thing that's going on. Because I'm
All
not
right.
going to be able to get that out of my vocabulary.
So Alezi does say, "Oh Jesus."
But yeah, he's a criminal kingpins
So
and
you
the whatnot.
you want to get
Hey,
into
well.
more? You want to put yourself into the fire for getting
Listen.
out of the frying pan.
I mean,
Listen.
no, I have to make a joke about fire and the fact that he's attractive. Please, I don't get many jokes.
Was that said in character?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Perfect.
Listen, at this point, I think that no matter what happens, no matter how this little party turns out, I think that me being a part of some criminal organization, I think it's kind of inevitable at this point. And the fact that I got to choose to go with Lionel, that was a pretty important choice to me. And if that works out, that might pay well enough to get the bounty off.
All right, you have a point, but look, I can't do that. I can't follow you there. I have a mother to take care of. I have things to do. I'm not getting in bed with a criminal.
No, I couldn't think of anything. There's a setup there, but
I was thinking heavy foreshadowing for when Flynn and Alezi shit becomes canon. But yeah, you don't have to, Alezi. It could be my thing.
Let's
it's also
table
a little
it.
bit of my thing too.
Yeah, like I said, it's not something that we have to worry about right this second.
Let's table it and think about it. Because like we don't know how big Flynn's bounty is. We don't
Let's find
know
out
if there's actually more bounty hunters coming or if they
That's
just happen to
the point.
find him.
We could find out at the spreading rumor, I bet.
Yeah, but Weren't you concerned about the spreading rumor being the kind of place where you just find stuff out after somebody else already told it?
Who are you talking to?
Flynn.
I don't know. The guy I talked to was kind of a dumbass, I think, but I got good info.
Either way, there has to be a place in the city that bounty hunters get their information. They have to have a hub.
With Alezi's background, does this qualify?
I would say that Alezi would at least know where to start.
I mean, I know where to find information about bounty. That's not a problem.
Then we should find out discreetly, and Flynn should probably not come with us.
I was going to say that. I'm
not gonna attract any attention if I go and take a look. I don't think.
So we can do it tomorrow when we go shopping.
Shopping?
Yeah. I need to go clothes shopping.
For what? You don't care about clothes.
Oh, shit.
I mean, you're right. But, I guess, at the Blood in the Sand tournament, the boss lady thinks I would draw more attention if I had a costume.
I mean, that's just how Blood in the Sand is usually run.
Yeah. But I don't really know what I'm looking for, so I asked Oona to come along with me.
I'm so excited. It's gonna be so much fun!
You two are welcome to come along, I guess.
Docs, I have work, don't I?
Shopping episode.
Yeah, you do.
Unfortunately, I can't. I have duties tomorrow.
That's alright.
Well, perhaps Flynn can go with you for your duties.
Duties. That is very in character, by the way.
No, I know. That's Rhodes laughing.
Because if we want to make sure somebody keeps an eye on you just for now, because that bounty hunter just may have been trying to warn you off to get you to start running and leave you a little bit more vulnerable.
Good point.
Docs, is it gonna be weird if I'm like, hey, time for duties. Also, this is Flynn. He's gonna sit in the corner.
Yes.
Cool.
I want to see that.
I could help though.
I don't know. Not to say anything specific about you. It's more that temple life isn't really sort of a opt-in-out situation.
Flynn's just silent.
Well, I mean, we could always say he's an acolyte, or thinking about becoming an acolyte.
I'm not gonna lie to my temple.
Okay, fine, then he's a friend you brought to work.
This is D&D, motherfuckers. Figure it out.
Can my mom watch Flynn?
Oh my god.
This is a child. I found him in a bar.
I mean, I have like 7. How many kids? I don't know.
Are you just gonna try to pass him off as one of her children? No, Mom, you totally had this one.
I mean,
how many half-elf children does she have?
Let me start this in character since we're all laughing. I've got an idea. You could go hang out with my mom.
Oh god.
Alezi, chokes on her own spit.
Rose shrugs. If we need to put, I know Flynn's his own person, but if we're very concerned about him being alone and his lack of safety.
Listen, how about I just go with Alezi and Oona, and I use my disguise self shit?
Having heard your other options, Flynn, I'm good with that.
Sounds good to me.
Rhodes frowns. Now you're probably his mom. and his whole family, actually. Rhodes is still frowning at you. Oh, but Alezi can't read it. Fuck! She doesn't understand what she's done.
Did you mean Alezi or did you mean Oona?
I meant Oona.
I am vindicated!
But look. I have this spell where I can make myself look like someone else, and it lasts for an hour, and I can do that twice.
Oh, we're gonna be out way longer than that.
But if we're just shopping, I can be me. When we get to the bounty place, I can disguise myself.
Are you really going to walk in there?
Not walk in there, but I could
figure it
be
out.
in the area.
He can stay back with Oona. Yeah, I can go in there by myself. I'm a big girl.
We know.
She just flexes.
The group would note that Carl has come back down from his room to get another drink.
Oh
Fuck,
shit.
I'm not ready to talk to Carl.
I'm not ready to talk to Carl.
I mean, I note it, but I don't care. So
All right.
Oh, there's Carl. I should go. I actually need to go have a chat with him, guys. Are we done here?
Oona abruptly grabbed, or I did it.
I am so thoroughly vindicated. Oh God, it feels so good to know that I am not the only one who is vulnerable to that.
Your own character.
My own character. Anyway, Alezi grabs Una's arm. She's like, "Wait, before you go over there."
What?
For the record, if this were me, I would be running as all heck right now. But Flynn does not recognize that he did anything wrong, so.
Alezi just kind of leans in. She's like, "So Flynn had a conversation with your friend over there, and I didn't hear anything. And he says he didn't say anything offensive, but when he was walking away, he sure looked pissed."
Then we can talk to him tomorrow.
did you say that loud enough for Rhodes to hear?
Yeah.
Rhodes is gonna sigh. We don't know this guy. Why do we keep meddling in his life?
Fucking hell! I'm so glad someone finally fucking said that.
I mean, I've been
Look,
thinking it this entire
Renee-
time. That's why
Flynn
I don't
has been
like
saying
Renee
that
has
a lot,
NPC-itis. This is her first campaign ever. She has to get it out of the way.
You'll notice I haven't touched on the Carl problem because it's not my territory.
She just didn't want Oona to go over there unaware that Flynn had had a conversation.
At this
Anyway,
point, Carl has gone back up to his room and is no longer in sight.
Alezi just kind of shrugs and says, I guess that's what bards do? I don't know.
If I were him, I'd be pretty prickly right now.
Yeah, no fuck.
Yeah, I'll just wait until tomorrow, because I'm sure I can. We're going to the library. I can look stuff up. It'll be fine.
It seemed to me, though, that anything you'd find in the library, you'd already know.
Anyway, Oona, why are you so hell-bent on finding things out? Are you just that curious?
I mean, that's why I came here to learn things.
Docs?
Well, yeah, but why this thing?
Docs.
Why not?
I hear you. You can talk.
Sorry, yes. This is my territory. Would I have to make a roll to know if Oona is romantically interested in Carl?
You can make that roll, and Oona can respond to that however she wants. That is not my territory. That is not. That is one of the only things that I would say the DM does not.
Do I get advantage? Since
No.
I'm a fucking paladin of the lover. It's literally
And it's Oona.
Alright, fine. I had advantage, but Oona fucking canceled it out.
This is my
What am
new
I
favorite
rolling?
thing. Can I get advantage for this? No.
I respect the attempt, but no.
Hot Wheels beat that. I rolled a 9 in insight.
Okay, well, I can tell you no.
Okay, then he's just gonna shrug, because now he's confused.
But why not?
I don't know, it just seems like there's really nothing we can do.
I mean, that's defeatist talk. We could, who knows what we could find.
The guy pretty explicitly told us that his problem, you'd only ever find it in spreading rumor or timeless tomes, and that his family has done a lot of research on this over the years. I don't know that we're going to find anything new not in those places.
And I mean, I can't punch the problem away, so I'm useless.
It doesn't involve sex or romance, so I wouldn't know anything about it.
I don't know. I feel like being here, people don't want me to know things about things that I should definitely have to know about, and then people don't want me to know things about stuff that everybody should know about. So really, I'm just gonna find out whatever I have to.
Rhodes is gonna shrug. Like, that's a fucking lost cause, I guess.
I'm not gonna stop you. It just seems weird.
And a little useless from my point of view.
I mean, what else am I going to do?
There's lots of other stuff. Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
there are far more interesting stories to tell.
there's a whole bulletin out there we've been ignoring.
Oh yeah. I forgot about the bulletin board. Yeah.
Out of character, but somebody should check that at the end of the...
I I mean, Alezi brought it up, so you're like, in fact, can you move, Oona?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm gonna go look at those posts about lost kitten.
Lost kid.
I'll walk with you out. I should be getting home soon, too.
Alright.
Flynn, Ben is glaring at you because you have not been working for quite a while.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna take my break and my lunch and my office hours, thank you.
I was hoping to ask Oona one more thing, but I don't have time, so... I get up and start working again.
Oona, seeing herself abandoned, rushes to catch up with Alezi and Rhodes.
All right.
I'm gonna check out the bulletin board, too.
Cool. All of you may roll investigation checks if you so desire.
Hell yeah.
I
can't, because I'm not there.
No, you can't.
Oh, my good roll of the night. Wasted on fucking investigation.
Man! Alezi still gets distracted by the lost animals.
Alright, fuck, come on.
I guess Rhodes and Alezi are just going, the poor puppies!
Hey, no, I want the DM to tell me what I'm distracted by. Stop god modding.
It was a joke, but okay.
No, I'm kidding.
All right. So, first of all, Alezi, you do note that the cat thing that you were looking at before is still up.
Okay.
You and Rhodes look things over and don't see anything of particular note. A lot of the same job postings for jobs that are just not in your wheelhouse. A couple of other lost pets, a couple of other just a whole lot of not interesting stuff. Oona, you find something very interesting and very ominous buried beneath a few new postings. You see a wanted poster with Flynn's face on it. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Oh, shit!
That was way more than we thought it was gonna be. Why didn't we think of that? We're like, we gotta go ask a guy at a bar. And the fucking city is like, we printed it out and put it on the wall. We faxed it to you.
That was
So
great.
moving day is getting escalated.
All right, well, that was an interesting session, to say the least. Still, so much for that fucking short session, huh?
I know.
You should have had us fight somebody.
Like, so much for that. So let's power through our post-game chat. Alright, back to the top.
Did all of our heartfelt conversations and personal interactions finally get us up to level 4?
That'd be nice.
I feel like we just need to like squash a bug and then it's like level up.
I'll think about it.
Listeners should be aware that we're all desperate to level up.
All right, so let's just go through the list. First on that list, Red, you want to talk about Flynn and Carl's conversation?
Yeah, Scott had been dropping hints to all of us that he had what he called a bad plan.
Yes.
And I thought he was going to actively do something. I didn't think it was a conversation. And
Yeah,
as conversations go,
I definitely thought he was going to try to leave to do something so Alezi could stop him because he was like, maybe Alezi needs to keep an eye and stop Flynn. And I was like, okay.
like,
So-
I don't know, it's bad advice, but I can see Flynn doing it. Yeah.
I mean, it didn't hurt the party per se, unless Carl goes and does it and then comes back for bloody revenge when he loses
That's why I didn't want to do it, because I knew Docs that would be one of the options Docs might do. Might make him into like a warlock or some shit and have him...
I have bigger
Honestly.
plans for Carl, don't worry.
See
Which
what
is
you
so
did,
sad.
Renee? See what you did?
This
Why is
what
this
we
my
thought.
fault?
Importance to an NPC who was just trying to tip us off. He was just supposed to be Carl with a K and then fade from our lives.
Then
As
Doc
all-
should have thought
okay.
about that before he introduced him to me.
As every DM knows, there's always gonna be that NPC that the characters obsess over that you didn't plan anything for.
For no fucking reason.
No, just because they're fucking nosy.
Like, this is an interesting case, because like, it literally, Carl's only purpose was supposed to be to get you guys to the spreading room.
From the very first instance that we're like, we gotta know why he was there. I'm like, the dude alone. And it keeps happening. It's like we found somebody who's anemic, and we're going to like a medical library to find out about anemia and how to fix anemia. Like, leave it alone.
Well, like I said, this is Renee's first campaign. She has NPCitis. Yeah, we gotta...
Okay.
No, I love how out of control it's gotten.
Yeah, and I did say in character that anything we find that's not out of those two places, it's going to be stuff you already knew, probably.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to continue on this path now.
This is actually on the list of topics we want to talk about. It's Oona's character trait about helping people. Literally, that is one of her character traits, is that she will just fucking help strangers for no goddamn reason. And that's why I was really confused when Doc says, oh,
I love
shit.
this. It's like obnoxious helping, like, oh, you didn't ask, but this thing that bothers you a lot, I'm going to do a bunch of research into it. I'll help you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. She helps for no goddamn reason. Other than she wants to.
It's like my mom. Like, no, Mom, I don't need you to do research on my paper. I just want a bitch. Sorry if you're listening, Mom.
Wow. Next thing, we have messed with Rhodes' character sheet.
Yeah, I can talk about that.
Yeah.
So, recently I put my sheets on D&D Beyond. They're not fully worked up since D&D Beyond doesn't let you do custom rules for feats, but I noticed that we were using the variant of Aasimar, which is from the Dungeon Master's Guide. Is that the book title?
Yes, DMG, Dungeon Master's Guide.
Yes, which is used as an example of creating your own races. Actual true version of Aasimar is in Volo's Guide to Monsters.
Which I have not read, by the way.
I asked Docs if it was okay if I switched Rhodes over from the variant Aasimar to the Protector Aasimar, which is one of the 3 subclasses you have to choose under Aasimar. And
Sub-races.
Thank you. Sub-races. So it doesn't mean a lot has changed. His spell list is pretty much exactly the same. I think there's a few things I don't have now. Oh yeah, there's a few spells I won't be getting as a race bonus as I level up, but I picked up...
They were super unimportant, and the free healing is much better in my opinion.
Exactly.
I will, if we can take a brief detour into Dox's opinion corner, I would also say that race is a really solid example of blatant power. The once a day ability that the Aasimar get are so ridiculously too powerful, and I will be adjusting that in the rules. But
I will not be using it until it's what is it, Radiant Soul for the Protector Aasimar?
I think so.
I will not be using it until we figure out exactly how to pin it down.
I think we're just going to use the thing I said before in chat, which is that instead of lasting for a minute, it takes a bonus action to activate. It lasts 1 round, and you regain it after a short rest.
Sounds good. I mostly just like it because it gives me, like, spectral wings, and I'm excited to see art of that. Cool. That's all the background stuff. Anything else here? Oh shit, bounty hunters, indeed.
I would like to say that the way that the Flynn Rhodes conversation and the Flynn Oona conversation went is the exact opposite of each that I thought they were going to go. I thought Rhodes would end up more mad at me, and I thought Oona would like me more, having said the truth.
I know I've said in the past that I'm not going to drop you any hints, but you didn't actually apologize what Oona's mad at you for, and that's why she wouldn't accept the apology.
I don't even remember at this point, but I'm ADHD. Maybe I didn't do that in the first place.
Don't worry, I know what it is, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, I realized I hadn't told Doc, so I told him during the game.
Yeah, that was important, because I was like, oh, okay, that's not what I was expecting. But then you clarified privately, and now it all makes sense.
Yeah. Which reminds me, I need to tell you something else, but I'll do that later.
Okay.
As I was having my half of the conversation as I'm sitting there listening to Lynn, like, really trying to beat this point home, I'm like, home dog, you could have stopped halfway. Like,
yeah, that was a very long conversation.
It was long, and I'm like, he's gonna agree with you.
Flynn likes to monologue.
He does.
I can totally tell as I'm being monologued at, like, Scott doesn't think I'm gonna agree with this. Oh no.
I think monologuing is just in Flynn's blood at this point.
And that's fine.
It's from that elf side.
Flynn made the right point, which is I'm underleveled if I think I'm gonna go after this cult myself, and until my DM pulls me back into it, I should probably not touch it.
I wanted to comment a bit on the librarian voice, just to say I have no earthly idea how that's going to come out in the actual recording. So here's hoping.
Sounds bad in the talking, so.
I could understand you.
Yeah, I could understand you.
So I think it's fine. There were only a few words that were kind of not understandable, but you could get the context. So.
It was, I wanted this librarian to have a unique speech pattern because a lot of the reclusive, nerdy types that I've hung out with had some kind of speech problem, and it came to that simply because a lisp would have been harder to do.
That makes sense.
The lisp may come out, but there's a specific character I have in mind that has been prominent in other games I've run that would have the lisp.
So the group has a lot of plates spinning.
What?
The group has a lot of plates spinning.
Let's break them all.
Rhodes doesn't have any plate spinning. He has his job and whatever hoo-ha's drag him into. He has 2, maybe 3.
A lot of the plates are Flynn's.
Yeah, Flynn is definitely the driving force behind the complications right now.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Alezi has the Blood in the Sand tournament. She has having to make money to send back to her mom, which she hinted at in this. She hasn't brought up before, but she hinted at in this episode. And
now Oona has the in-character idea that might be something going on.
Yeah. And she also now has information on maybe how to find her dad. So she has 3 different things going on. It doesn't look like she's going to be able to get into the whole finding dad business for a while because of all of Flynn's stuff.
Well, I will say that when I originally started planning out this campaign, the idea was for you guys to stay in Leyline and really build on that setting, which is why the original name for this was Adventures in Leyline. But I will say that if that's not how the game goes, that's not how the game goes. And in your investigations, you may find that these 2 problems could solve each other. I'll just put that out.
I'll say this. I hate nature, and staying in an urban city sounds fucking nice.
Well, too bad. We're going to a swamp.
We're going to the Feywild.
I'm really excited about going to a swamp, I'm not going to lie.
I have a few more things I want to touch on. I did not expect Oona and Rhodes' time together to go so fucking badly.
That was so great, because we were trying so hard to get alone time for the 2 of them, and then we just fucked it up so bad.
I don't think we fucked it up. It's going to be a problem going forward, because Rhodes is very interested in understanding people's emotions and being around people who do. And the fact that Alezi doesn't and won't pick up on that stuff, like...
You mean Oona?
That's something else we should talk about. I'm so glad that I don't know if it's my fault, but I am glad that it's no longer just my problem.
I know what
to be fair, I'm used to talking to Alezi. That much.
I know what it was with me. I do it all the time. I will flip the people that I'm talking about specifically. Like, I will say, this is from you to me instead of me to you. So, like, that was what happened when I was speaking. I know that.
It doesn't matter. I am vindicated.
Yeah, you can totally feel vindicated. I just know why I did it particularly.
I will say, since it's probably not going to happen anymore because it's kind of awkward between Oona and Flynn right now and more time is passing, the last thing that I wanted to say to her before I was getting up, but I had to get up because Ben was glaring at me, was I wanted to kind of ask her about how the play went and kind of lead on, because I really want to do a history check on Pendleton. I have good history. I want to know if I know that guy.
Hey, we have an opportunity for the next game because we're all going shopping, and we have to wait outside while Alezi goes into the bounty office anyway.
I mean, maybe not. We have a flyer now.
Oh yeah, fudge.
We don't know if it says the amount on it, though.
I just need to finish up my last two things.
That's what I said, maybe.
Just finished up the Rhodes and Oona alone time. I gotta say, I think Rhodes was kind of interested in Oona, but after seeing, like, just not picking up on anything, any sort of emotions from anybody else, I think that's a major turnoff.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I'm cool with that.
The ship has not sailed.
Well, it just means I don't know what's going to happen with him, which is very scary. I mean, I have a list of 5 potential people from my past, and who the fuck knows who Rhodes will meet in the future. I would like him to have a love interest.
I think it makes sense for the paladin of the lover to get a lover, but
but in a way, it also makes for a better, an interest, maybe not better, but a interesting story for him to not. Like, there's a lot of ways we can go with this, and I am perfectly pleased with all of them. I do agree that there is zero chemistry between him and Oona at this point. Yeah,
it's just not going to happen. You know? It might be interesting if he never does, but I'm not fucking interested. As a player, as somebody hearing your story, I can recognize, like, oh, how interesting. He never does. How will he deal with that? As a player, I'm like, fuck that shit.
Well, we'll have to see how things go.
Yeah.
I literally don't have a plan at this point. I have no fucking idea what anything is going to happen. So, let's see how this goes. This is a garbage truck on fire, and
no, I have one last point. Don't start.
Yeah, one last point. I want to know why Rhodes hid his tears.
Rhodes has hid his tears from the group, not because he's embarrassed about his emotions, but he didn't want them to think that Flynn had somehow, like, bullied him into crying.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if Rhodes had come over and was still crying, Alezi probably would have jumped over the table and just sucker punched Flynn.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he hit it. It was more like, I'm gonna protect Flynn, not like I need to be a big manly man.
Let's save the table jumping for when Oona finds out she was trying to convince Carl to sell his soul.
That's
right,
gonna
Doc.
be fun.
Take us home, Docs.
But we're on fire, so let's go somewhere other than home, because I don't want
hungry.
to light it on
I haven't
fire.
had dinner.
Okay, well, fuck you. I'm going to make this last longer now. No, I'm not.
No.
Hi, I'm Docs, and this has been Ragtag Bag of Bastards, episode 11. Woo! I'm still just myself. I'm Proven Paradox on Twitter, and that's about it for me. So there we go. Who wants to go next?
I'm Red. I played the big boy. What do I have to plug? Nothing really. I've got a Pinterest and a Tumblr and a Twitter, and they're all below. But I don't do anything creative, so it's my time to plug other people's things. I made a list today. I feel like I'm going to get this plug out way soon, because I can't believe I've done it before, but I don't know why you would be listening to us if you haven't listened to the Adventure Zone. Maybe you just have weird taste. Or maybe you're more of a crit roll person. Who knows? But I love the Adventure Zone. They just started a new campaign. They're the reason I wanted to do a D&D podcast. Cool. I started watching BuzzFeed Unsolved, which is like if you mix X-Files with Ghost Adventures, and then made it hosted by BuzzFeed, which sounds terrible, but it's very good.
It sounds awful.
It sounds awful, but I just like the skeptic, because he's so fucking funny. And third plug, the concept of rice. When I am broken, I'm much like a phone, in that when a phone is broken, you have to put it in rice, but when I'm broken, you have to put rice in me.
Fascinating. Who's next?
Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott. I play Flynn, the half-elf rogue, who knows for how much longer. As always, I have my webcomic, betweenthelines.comic.com, and my Patreon at patreon.com/squirrelbro.
Awesome.
Alright, it's me next. Hi, this is KQ. I've been playing Alezi, the half-orc barbarian, and so far, I'm just really loving playing with this group and playing as this character. You can find all of my art and other things on my Patreon, patreon.com/KQD. You can also find everything in links in the description below.
And finally,
Hi, I've been Renee. You can find all my links below, my Patreon, my Tumblr, my Twitter, my Instagram, all that. Definitely go check it out. And then Also, we finally have a Ragtag Bag of Masters Tumblr. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, definitely go do so. It is down below. Feel free to send us asks on that. And also on our Twitter, feel free to send us messages on there. And our email is also below. So if you want to send us any emails through that, we would also welcome that. We really are interested in having some comments from you guys to talk about. And we really want to hear from you. So please send us messages. I put all these social media accounts together. please.
We're shouting into the abyss. We want the abyss to shout back.
Yes.
Indeed. I think that's everything. So thank you very much, players, for playing. It was fun. Thank you very much, listeners, for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.